All right. Hang on a sec. We're a little bit extreme here. Let me fix that camera. Hang on. I just got to get the remote. Wow, that thing is zoomed out. All right. Hang on a second here. Let's get this a little bit more under control. There we go. That's a lot better. Thankfully, it has this remote. Sorry, I didn't know it was going to go full blast like that. So, and you can still see this weird thing back here. That's for the iPad. Um, I wanted to go over just a couple of quick things while I was doing wiring on the PDC and stuff. I thought about some cool tips and tricks and some of the basics that not everyone is doing Kindig level builds, and not everyone is doing Boyd Coddington or Chip Foose builds. Sometimes we're doing stuff for race cars that we just needed to work for the weekend, but we can't have it break down. We can't have it come apart. We can't have it short out. We can't have it fail. So how do we do nice but sturdy? And if you want to do, gold plated connectors and, engraved fuses and shit like that, go for it. I will not stop you from doing that. That stuff is super cool. But for what we're doing with this, it's something different. Have I seen all that stuff? Yeah, it's crazy. But that's part of show cars, and that's why they're rolled on and off trailers, and you don't see them on track, or you don't see them at events, pulling up to Cars and Coffee or anything like that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys just some basic tools. Again, we're going to go, this whole thing is probably less than $100 in total. So we'll be, hey Liz, thanks for the update. The tools that we're going to use that I'm going to show you guys and the supplies and stuff, looking at less than $100, and it's going to cover 98% of the electrical stuff you need to do on your car, whether it's, the limo or a Miata or whatever. It's going to be solid, and it's going to last until either you can get to your shop and do it, the way you really want to do it, or get you through the weekend, get you through the, next session, whatever. This is going to be kind of the middle ground in between like duct tape and zip ties and polished and engraved 100 amp fuses. This will be kind of the middle ground, and this is going to get you through most of the stuff. So we'll go through some of the basics, and then I want to show you a cool trick that I did with the PDC that I've done a couple of times before. It's kind of a rare thing, but it's a cool trick, and I figured you guys would like it. And I want to show you some cool things, like new stuff that I found, like this guy. So first things first, a very, very good pair of wire cutters. These are very small, and they are stainless steel. They are on Amazon. They're about $18. These are really nice, $20. These will cut solder, they'll cut copper, they'll cut aluminum. They're very nice. I've had a couple of pair of these, and they're absolutely fantastic. Spring loaded, very nice, very sharp, which is very important. Next up, a really good wire stripper. I do like the automatic wire strippers. These guys are great. I'll show you just quick how it works. So I have to do this totally backwards so you guys can see it. So we take our wire, and I need a little bit off the end here. I have a stopper. This is the stopper gauge, how much exposed wire I want. For this, we'll just put it at the max. And you can flip them out of the way if you need to do, just a section, or if you need to do something really long where you have to wrap it around or whatever. So we'll just do them at the max. You put your wire. This is so hard to do like upside down. Okay. So he's at the max. Now you can see both of these little guys grip on. And then as you squeeze, he's pulling the one side away. And then he releases, and there you go. That distance is the exact distance. So that distance that we cut. The other cool part about these, they have crimpers down here for crimping connectors. There is also a very rough wire cutter right here. And there's also a basic crimping tool right here. So if these guys don't get it far enough, you can come up to this guy up here. I'll just point at it with the scissors. So crimping tool, and they're color coded here. And then also your regular crimper and then your wire cutter. And that's just for cutting basic wire. If you're doing a bunch of cutting that's not very precision, use this. When you're doing precision stuff, use these guys. It just saves these guys. And it's funny, this has a replaceable blade. I'm sure it's about $5, but these are like $20. So these are all over Amazon. You can find them. They usually come, this is the Irwin colors, but this is the Haystronica. I don't know who it is. Solid metal, nice insulated grips. This thing works awesome. So we're going to use this one, this wire for demonstration, so we're going to leave it out. The other thing we need are connectors. You can get connector packs like this for, I swear, like $12. This is 750 pieces. And you can see all the different types of connectors and how many there are. And who makes this? Goffrey. I don't know. There's tons of them out there. You can get them on Amazon, on eBay, all of that. And it has a whole bunch of different types of connectors and different sizes. So these are for, let's see, blue is 16 to 14 wire gauge. Sometimes you can stuff a little more if it's a bigger wire gauge. You might be able to get a 12 in there. Pack it in nice and tight. And so since everything's color coded, you just match up, you know, oh, I need a bullet connector. I need a male spade. I need a female spade. And these guys, the red guys are for very tiny wires. And you have spade connectors that go together like that. You can take them apart. There's also insulated ones, or not insulated, but protective ones like this, where the female part is, you can see it inside there. The male part is not. Put the two together. You have a pretty weather-ish type connection. I would still heat shrink that. That's just me. So, oh, this guy has wandered over. Got a girl in the fraternity. Super cheap. So we have our wire strippers, our wire cutters, these guys, also electrical tape. I'll tell you the best deal on electrical tape. Now, the 3M stuff is kick-ass. This is the Scotch 3M stuff. You can tell from the yellow inside. This stuff is awesome, industry standard. Everybody uses this. But if you want a great deal, Harbor Freight has a roll. I believe it's 10 packs of the 3/4 inch tape. You can get a roll of 10 and it's going to last you like 5 years. I have it at the shop in Ohio and I've gone through maybe 3 rolls in like 4 years. So it lasts a long time. It's very cost effective. A lot of the times you're using electrical tape as a temporary fix. It is not a permanent thing. So you would wrap something really quick, test, or you know, get to your buddy's house where all your connectors are, your welding or whatever, and then redo it and take it off and redo it, or add on actual heat shrink or whatever you're doing. So for me, electrical tape is very very disposable. It's not something I use to actually cover electrical connections permanently, but it is something quick and easy and cheap. And I don't mind throwing 3 feet of this away. If I had to, you know, loop it around something to cover an exposed wire, get where I'm going, replace the wire, throw out that other stuff. It doesn't phase me at all. When I have 3 feet of really nice, really thick duct tape in a color, or if it's my macaroni and cheese or my Justin Bieber duct tape, I'm bent when I have to use more than the necessary part. I'm not kidding. I have mac and cheese duct tape and I have Justin Bieber duct tape. Um, so the next thing, and this is a kind of a variety pack thing, is heat shrink. And you're going to use heat shrink all the time. And that's why it's nice to get a big pack of heat shrink. This is a ton of red and black in a whole bunch of different sizes. And this is a 4-to-1 ratio. You usually get 3-to-1 or 4-to-1. Either one is fine. 4-to-1, if you are working with a lot of large wires, 4-to-1 can shrink down a little too tight. So that's when you use 3-to-1. But for the most part, if you have a little bit of space between your wires, 4-to-1 is going to be great. And like I said, this comes in a bunch of different sizes. These are all kind of small. I mean, this is the largest red and the largest small, or the smallest red. So you can see the difference there. And the other good part is you're not going to use these whole things. You're going to cut it, and then you just put the little section back here. You can store. Actually, I think this is the largest one. Yeah, here we go. This is 19 millimeters. This is 3/4 inch. This is a big boy. I forgot they had it folded in there. So, oh, back. This is a big chunk of heat shrink. That's a big boy. Like, I can get my ring finger in there. So yeah, that's a big guy. This will last me a good long time. Again, these are like $8 for this. It's very cheap. And then something else that I like is I like the color packs, because when I'm working with stuff like uh, the controller for the door poppers, a lot of the wires are in different colors. So if I'm going to be crimping wires, I like to have the yellows, the blues, the whites, the greens. Try and get it as close as possible to the original. If I'm not, then I'm going to use black. So that's the simple. Black is the simple, you know, the little black dress, the little black heat shrink. That's what it is. That's kind of the norm. So those are your. I'll put these up here just so you guys can see everything that I'm talking about. Nothing is too weird or obscure. And our electrical tape, and that's kind of it. If you have this basic kit, you can cover most of your electrical wiring. If you're doing custom stuff or if you're doing simple repairs, you can cover most of it with just this stuff. You can't see that guy, sorry. Just this stuff is going to cover you. It's going to take up a very small section of your toolbox, and you'll be able to do most of it. Oh, sorry, heat shrink. You're going to need a heat gun. This is a really expensive, really nice DeWalt digital heat gun. You don't need this. You can get a $15 heat gun. You can get a Harbor Freight. You can actually, if you have a super powerful hair dryer, you can use that too. If your hair dryer's 1,500 watts or above, I don't know if they still make 2,000-watt hair dryers, but if you have a hair dryer that's heavy duty, you can use that. A lighter also works. Not my favorite, but a lighter does work too. So you need a heat gun. But these guys plus a heat gun, you're going to be in really, really, really good shape to cover most electrical things that you need to do. So that's kind of it. I'm going to show you guys something that's kind of cool that I did on the PDC. And so you guys got that? Everyone got the super basic electrical kit? Should probably have 2 or 3 rolls of this, but I just grabbed one. It's basically what you need to do most wiring in vehicles without it being super show quality, and also without it being chunky monkey crap. Here's here's something else, and I'll just show you. Most of this wiring, or most of this heat shrink, will fit over a connector. I'm just going to use, well, of course, I'd launch it over there. These guys are all hooked together. So when you have a connector like this, the yellow is nice, but that's the indicator of the wire gauge size. It doesn't tell us if it's hot or ground. So the nice part is when you have heat shrink like this, now all of a sudden I can slide the heat shrink up there, and that tells me automatically that that's hot. The heat shrink is going to cover up the connector itself, the crimped part, and it's also going to identify our wire as hot or not. So this is a little tight. I would not use this, but for demonstration purposes. So that's the other cool part. If I did, of course, that guy launches over there. So let me see if I did, not that guy, this guy. Come here. Actually, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use this piece over here. No, I'm not. This is more difficult than it looks. I'm trying to do a magic trick, and I'm not being very magical. Sorry. Okay. Whoops. All right. So I'm going to hold up these two connectors, and you guys try and tell me which one is yellow and which one is blue. Can you figure out which one's yellow, which one's blue? You can't. And that's why it's nice to have that heat shrink to cover up your blue. It's called an eyelet connector. I prefer those over the fork connectors because the fork connectors, even though they have little fly ups at the bottom, they can also fall out. It's very hard for the eyelet ones to fall out. So you guys got all the basics. You can do positive and negative, and then again, just use black for any other color if you don't have the colored box that has all the cool different colors. So sometimes we have for that Mad Max 3 Turner hair. Okay, is that where I'm at with my hair? Is that? I have no clue what's going on here. I went grocery shopping tonight, and I had the windows down, and then everything was fine. And then I get back here, and I don't know what the hell's happened. So sometimes we have a bunch of wires, usually more than two, probably 3, 4, something like that. And they can be 16 gauge like this. They can be, 20 gauge. We have multiple wires, and we'll include them in a loom. And this is a flexible loom. What do they call this? Expandable sleeving. So this is expandable sleeving. And the reason it's expandable is, I'll show you guys. So he can expand because we can do that with him. And he can go actually pretty damn wide, and he can hold a lot in there. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then when you're done, you can tighten him up, and he'll make himself snug against all of the cables. Now this stuff comes in a ton of different sizes. This is, what is this, 100 feet? This is 100 feet. This is going to last me 5 years. Okay, maybe not 5, maybe 3 years. But, when you mentioned the hair dryer, yeah. For that Tina Turner look, I definitely need that. This stuff is great, and it comes in a whole bunch of different sizes. This one says it's a 3/8 diameter, and I know they have it in quarter, and I also know they have it much larger. So if you have a larger bundle of wires, or if you have something that you want to protect, like a large power cable, you can also use this, and it's great protection against kind of rubbing and stuff. It gives you one more layer. But you guys can see how when I hold that end, it expands, kind of bubbles up, and this will bubble up the length of. Let's see if I can do it. You know, it'll go as big as you need it. Now the downside is you got to be careful as you do this. It starts to unbraid itself, so you can tape this off. You can heat shrink it, whatever you want to do. But what I wanted to show you guys was, and I'm just going to do something cool, uh, small and simple. Stay there. I have the scissors here because I like cutting electrical tape versus ripping it. I know a lot of people like to rip it, and you can. I don't like doing that. So hopefully this guy keeps him. He's not going to stay put very well, but that's what we're going to use. So we're going to pretend that we have this section of wire, a section of loom that we need to run this wire through, but our connector is about 2 inches in, 3 inches in from where the rest of the wires go through, but we need this guy to come out 4 inches in and go up to a different connector. So how do we do that if, you know, I can't hold all the wires and I can't, I can balloon this out at a specific section, but there's no way for me to like open up a hole or guide him out or anything like that. So how the hell do we do that? That is where this comes in handy. This is a very simple home sewing kit. What do they call this? They call them hand needles. And I've used these for tons of different things, poking holes in stuff, electrical stuff like this. I've used this, these big guys as like electrical probes, all of that. So um, they also have a couple of curved ones, and you can run wires like behind things. And they're just really helpful. And these are only, I'm sure these are at the grocery store, at Publix or Kroger or whatever. You can get these stupid cheap, and just keep them in the case. I keep them in my drawer called cutting, and I've used them a bunch of times for a whole bunch of different projects. And it's one of those handy things that like, what the hell am I ever going to do with that? And you'd be surprised, because you can also sew with them. I don't know if anyone else is proficient with a sewing machine or sewing buttons back on their shirt or whatever. By the way, I'm still waiting for a callback from Rockstar. I'm going to set this to the side because otherwise I'm going to launch it. So how do we get this wire to come out where we want it to come out? I'm going to bring everything a little bit closer. So yeah, see, this electrical tape didn't stick to that. So it's kind of useless. Just going to make this quick. Actually, I know how to do this. Watch this. There we go. Now he's going to stay put, even though I just crank down on him. Nope, because he just keeps sliding and getting tighter. Okay. So again, just use this duct tape. Masking tape usually works pretty well with this. Electrical, not so much. So what we're going to do is we're going to help that wire get through. And I'm going to use this, I guess, medium needle. It's in between the large and the small. I'm going to do myself a favor and try not to poke myself. And I'm going to take a very small piece of electrical tape, and I'm going to attach it to the end of the wire. Oh my God, if I had skills. All right. Now, you do not need a lot of electrical tape because we don't have a big, huge window to go through here. So we just have to be very careful. And the good part is if we lose anything, we can open this up and pick it right out. So I'm going to add the tape to the wire itself right at the end. And then I'm going to add the needle, the eye side, to that. And make them snuggle buddies. So now this has a smaller necessary opening than the wire itself does. So now I can feed this through, and wherever I want them to come out, I can sort of angle this. You know, I can bubble it and angle it, and he's going to come out right there. So I'll show you guys how this works. This is pretty frayed down here, so I might trim him. It's going to make a mess. Yep, of course it makes a mess. So the more you work it, the more that end is going to fray. So like he's already started fraying. So now I have the wire in here, and he keeps coming down, and he keeps coming down. He keeps coming down. And then I can look and see where he's at. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I want him to come up, let's say right here. We'll put a bend in. And where is he? Oh, there's the needle. So if I want to come back a little, I can come back. Now, when I bend, that needle, you can see, is poking out right there. Is that where I want him? Let's try it out. And now, okay. Come on, buddy. Oh, wire got caught. Hang on. There we go. Or not the wire, the electrical tape. So now, just hold on to the loom. The electrical tape is sticking to the... Anyway. All right. So we've got our needle out. We're going to take our electrical tape off because he's holding up everything. And we've got our wire out. Oh, he's caught on one of the threads. Okay. There you go. Stay on the back side there. Okay. So now we can feed our wire through, and we haven't cut anything. That loop right here is where the tape got caught and pulled him. So anyway, it'll look like this. And you can feed it as long as you want with that needle going through that loom. And then wherever you want him to pop out, you can just flex it a little bit. You can angle it a little and then balloon him out, and he'll pop out another wire. It's an easy way to do it. Now, obviously, the longer the section, it's a lot harder. And sometimes you might need to use a fish tape. They make very small fish tapes, not probably needle small. So this is a good way to do it with just the mesh expandable sleeving. So that's how simple that is. And then if you have other wires that you want to come out, you can have, like 10 wires in here, and they all come out at different points. And you still have them contained in this mesh. Just, it makes for a much cleaner look. So that's that. Oh, you need to replace the wire? Oh, well, you can just pull it out, and that tape pulled that little loop out. I don't know where that loop is. It's only 700 strands in here, so I'm not going to try and pull them out. But that's a cool trick. So just using a regular sewing needle helps you get a cool custom look and something a little more, a little more professional than just running wire, uncovered, no braid, and then you have like 8 different wires going here, and they all go up to different things. But this is like a big, braided mess. You got something like this, it looks really cool, and you can pop those wires out wherever you want. Just got to use the needle and tape. So that's a fun one. That one you guys can take. Enjoy that one. I'm going to set this guy to the side because the next one is actually pretty cool too. So this stuff I just got recently, and I haven't really had a ton of chances to mess with it, but it is going to become very handy, especially in the racing applications where we have stuff that needs protection, especially wiring, where something has worn through, like an original OEM loom has worn through or been melted or whatever. This is a great replacement. This shrinks down incredibly small. This is woven. You guys can see that. And it's kind of woven heat shrink. And I used this on the MR6 on a couple of connectors. I think I showed you guys that. I can't remember if I did or not. But this will actually slide over a connector. Like I can get 3 fingers in there. And so I can slide it over the connector and then it'll shrink down. I'm pretty sure it'll shrink down to my finger. So a 3 to 1, it'll shrink down really far. So I'm going to grab a pair of pliers so I can hold this thing, and I'm going to shrink it down for you guys. So we'll measure it before and after shrinkage. So let's see how this goes. Let me grab. Actually, let me grab a calipers and just a pair of gloves. That'll do. No, I want pliers. I'm not going to burn my hands. Call me a wuss. That's fine. I don't care. Yeah. Okay. It's fine. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. So just do this in millimeters. Keep it simple. Make sure we're at 0. So I'm going to measure this guy out right now at 60. I'm going to call him 64. I'm going to call him 64 and a half. So if you guys can see that, 64.5 millimeters. Now we're going to cook this guy. Let's see where we end up. So I'll try and do it. If I had enough skills, I'll try and do it where you guys can watch it shrink up. So you kind of see it happen. It's going to be a little loud with the mic or with the heat gun. So I have the heat gun on high. Watch this thing shrink up. Oh, wait. Can you actually see it? Not really, can you? Hang on. Let me get some height on here. All right. Hang on one second. Of course, none of this stuff is planned out. I'm just like, I'm showing you guys off the. Just a nice 4x4. Now we can pull back a little so the limo will be a good background. Now you can watch this thing shrink up. You ready? This is pretty cool. I have to hit it from a couple of different sides. There he goes. I don't know if he's going to lay flat. He's obviously used to going around stuff. But anyway, you can see how much smaller he goes. All right. So that is a lot smaller than what we had before. He is toasty warm. Hey, wow, that's hot. Okay. So let's get our flat. Wow. So he was 65 before, correct? Oh, this thing is cooking. So I'm going to trim some of these fray ends because it didn't have anything to, grip onto. So he just kind of frayed out a little bit. Oh, this thing is so hot. All right. I'm just going to trim some of the fray so we can get a straight measurement on these. You guys are watching all this anyway, so you'll call me out if you think it's anything. It's a little trapezoidal shaped. So we'll just measure the two sides and we'll take a difference off of that. So let's go this side and we'll be slightly generous. 24.4, so it's just under an inch. This side is 27.5, 27.6, just over an inch. So that's how small that goes, which is very helpful when you're trying. This is another piece of it. So there's your difference. That's how much it shrinks down. So this guy is he's just barely larger than the other piece. So you can see, at least height wise, how far he goes down. I don't mean to flip you guys off. I'll use 2 fingers. That'll be better. That way it's a little more Italian. So there's the difference. So the nice part is you can, like I said, you can go over a connector. I don't have a good example of a connector. No good connectors. There's a connector. You can go over a connector like that. And then, yeah, I have no good connectors. Nothing. There you go. You go over a connector, and then this will heat shrink down that far onto those cables. At the track, this is going to be great. When you're doing those temporary repairs to get you somewhere, to get you back to your shop, to get you back out on track, to help. This is another thing, to help another team out, because they might not have seen this, and this might be exactly what they need. So this comes in, I think I have a 50-foot roll of it, and it's actually not a roll. It's kind of, it's anyway, 50 feet of it. And we'll definitely be taking some of this to the track. We'll probably take 8 or 10 feet of this, because if we aren't using it, there might be another car there that has a connector issue with the ground, or whatever is melted through and they can't go back out on track. Throw some heat shield on there, put this on there, it'll stay in place. It's not going to melt zip ties. This obviously is going to be a little bit more protection than what was then exposed wire. So this stuff is pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed with how solid it is. I mean, when it's down, this guy's now, I I can't really even flex them apart. I can get some strays off of here, but I can't really flex them apart. So he's going to be pretty durable even when he's shrunk down. So this is a cool thing. I don't remember the exact name of it. I can look. Came in this big bag. So, oh, we're done with the heat gun. I can turn that off. It is 4UB or FOURUB, 2-to-1 ratio flat sheath, 1 3/8. Oh, this is 20 feet. I thought I got 50 feet. This is how it comes. It comes in a roll like this. And so even something like this, half of this, take this to the track, keep the other half, keep it in the trailer. The other half keep in the shop. This is cool stuff. Most of the connectors that you see are going to be like 10 pin or 20 pin or whatever. This stuff will shrink down. It'll go right up against that connector and it'll protect all of those wires. If you really want it to, it could probably go over the connector and help keep the connector together. Sometimes you have broken connectors. We had that with a TPMS or TPMS report, TPS sensor, and we just used epoxy to keep it together, but that would have been an even quicker fix. Epoxy plus this, you double secure. That should get you through the race, get you through the weekend, get you back to the shop where you can replace the TPS. So TPS is throttle position sensor. So this stuff is going to be pretty handy. I don't remember how much it cost. I don't think it was terribly expensive. So a lot of this stuff is not terribly expensive. You just need to find the right stuff, and then all of a sudden you're not inundated with crap that you're never going to use, or you're only going to use one of something. You can do those. You can order those one at a time, but it's hard because you want everything in your shop. You want all the cool stuff, and you want to, make sure you have the latest and greatest. And when you're going to the track, when you're doing builds like this, you want to make sure you have the coolest shit. But sometimes, you're not going to need that. It's a lot like Harbor Freight tools. They're kind of disposable. You get it, the one hammer that you're going to use to, straighten a frame rail, and then you're never going to use it again. Or like I use Harbor Freight chip brushes all over the place. Their chip brushes are great. They work great. The bench brushes, they're awesome. A lot of disposable tools come from there. So if you want to invest in, $25 chip brush, go right ahead. But I'm going to keep doing the stuff from Harbor Freight. Works for me. So that's simple electrical for you guys. Like I said, you can do cool stuff. And the needles thing, it's, it was actually, I figured it out a long time ago. I was wiring up XLR cables, and I was trying to do these cool multi-cable setups with a much larger, it was a loom a little bit smaller than this, and I wanted my XLRs to come cleanly out of the braided shielding. And so I'm like, I can hold it open, but I can't reach in there and get that thing. So how do I do it? Well, it wasn't a needle. It was from my pokey stick. It was one of the ends off of one of my pokey sticks. Taped it on and pulled one XLR out, went down, pulled another XLR cable out, went on down, pulled another XLR cable, and it looked really clean. So I just applied it to doing small stuff, with the braided shielding. Here, you just use a smaller needle, does the same thing. Feed it in straight, turn it where you want it to come out, and then keep going with the next one. You can just keep going and going, and you have this really clean looking. You guys will see on the PDC, there's a couple of spots where the wires kind of come right out of the shield, or out of the shielding, and then go straight up to power or straight up to ground. and it's a little cleaner way to do it. It also keeps those other wires protected. So um, that's it. Hopefully you guys like that, and hopefully it comes in handy somewhere down the line. Again, you're not using this every single time. Most of the time, your stuff is already going to be shielded. It's already going to have sheathing on it, split loom, something. But if you're doing custom stuff, if you're doing like what I did with the PDC here, if you're doing custom stuff or whatever, it's a quick, easy, simple way to get a very custom look out of something very basic. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer everything. And we're going to keep going on PDC stuff. We're wiring up door poppers and the license plate. I have another project that I've been working on. That's why I wasn't with you guys last night. Working on the guitar project, which is the other side of my life that you guys don't normally see, and trying to get all of the guitar stuff done. So, there's only 24 hours in a day. If I had 27, I'd be in much better shape. And look at the hang on this mic. You want to know how heavy this mic is? Jeez. It's like a turkey. God. Like if I just lean over, I can feel it like pulling my shirt down. I just get lighter mics. Anyway, yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, put them there. Shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer any of that stuff. If there's something you guys want to see, whether it's electrical, mechanical, specific car, how to do knockoffs, how to sand down shitty graphics on a 26-foot limo. If you guys want to see that stuff, let me know. I'm happy to show it to you. Um, always looking for cool new ideas, and everyone's doing different stuff on their cars. So I want to try and help out wherever I can. I do not know it all, but I know a lot. So I love seeing your guys' progress too. So if you've got cool stuff, again, shoot me a message. Say, hey man, check out my stuff. Love to check it out. I love all that stuff. You got a Miata with a Busa engine in it? Hell yeah, I'm all about that. I am. I love my Mopar stuff, but man, I will check out anything. So thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. I know it's really late, middle of the week, and all of that jazz. We'll be back. We'll do more limo stuff. And like I said, I finally have the tools to do the Miata rear end and raise the rear end on the Miata. We'll get that in here too. I got to finish the trunk stuff on the limo first so that I can flip it around and get it parked outside, covered up and tarped and tented and all that. Because there's no roof on it and it rains here. So we'll get the Miata in here. We'll get the back end raised up about 3/4 of an inch, and I'll show you guys how to do that. And then we'll bring the limo back in front end, and we'll do a lot more wiring and cool stuff. New carpet, or I guess I should say flooring. I don't know what you want to call it. Whatever it is going to be waterproof. We've got cool stuff for the front side of the limo once we're done with the back side. And we have all the plumbing, so we're going to get the thing plumbed up, get water in there, get it spinning around. It'll be cool. So yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. We'll do more stuff this week, I promise, and definitely stuff this weekend. It's supposed to be a really nice weekend. So maybe we'll do some daytime stuff. I would love to do that if I get some time. I would come in here and hang with you guys and do cool stuff. So thanks everyone. I really appreciate it. And all the new subscribers, you guys are great. Thank you very much for that. It's always a cool surprise to come here and see, hey, you have, X new subscribers, 5 new subscribers. It's really cool. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys like what I'm doing. Once again, I don't get paid anything for this, not a dime. And I'm doing it because I love teaching and because you guys like it too. If you guys didn't like it, I wouldn't keep doing it. So I appreciate it. And don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. We will talk to you very soon. All right. Have a great night or morning, depending on where you're at. All right. Now we got to put all this stuff away, right? Okay. It's an electrical party. Electric Boogaloo 3.